Hello and welcome to the show. This show is going to be all about your money. So everybody wants to know about their money. And it's not the money that you're keeping. It's the money that you pay in taxes that other people spend. So I have an expert coming on to talk to us about how the federal government is spending your money, how it shouldn't be spending your money, and how maybe you can keep some more of it. His name is Franco Terrazzano. He is a federal director of the Canadian Taxpayers Federation, and he joins me right now. Franco, welcome to the show. I'm glad you're here. You are right now in Ottawa, which is the worst place in Canada for people who's spending other people's money.
Oh, they're good at it. And look, we talk about waste in Ottawa all the time, but let me tell you, the single biggest waste of taxpayers' money is interest charges on the debt. And that's costing us more than $1 billion every single week.
And I understand that the federal government spends more on the interest charges of which you're speaking than on the health care throughout Canada.
Yeah, that's crazy, right? Think about it this way. With your tax dollars, the federal government is wasting more money paying interest on the debt than what it's sending to the provinces in healthcare transfers. Or hey, think about it this way as well. Last year, every single dollar that you paid in federal sales tax, went to pay interest charges on the debt. So if you crunch the numbers, interest payments are costing each Canadian this year about $1,300.
So when somebody has, for themselves, or they have a family member or a friend, and they're waiting for a doctor, or they're told by the hospital that, it may not be for a week or two or three that you can have an operation, that's because somebody else, a banker or some other country, is holding our notes and they're getting our interest because of the money the federal government has borrowed for its spending.
Well, this is how crazy it is. And remember, folks, it's really important to deal with the situation now before things get out of hand, right? And I always say the biggest threat to government services is not political ideology, it's interest charges on the debt. And all you got to do is look to Saskatchewan under the NDP government in the 90s, where interest charges got so out of hand that they closed, dozens of rural hospitals across that prairie province.
And in Ontario, we're closing hospitals as well, and surgeries. So it's a big, big problem. Well, tell me about the Taxpayers Federation. What do you do? I'll ask you in a minute about how you harass the Prime Minister. But tell us of the mandate of the Federation.
Well, we're all about lower taxes, less government waste, and more government accountabilities. So we've been around for more than 30 years now, a scrappy organization. We have mascots like Porky the Waste Hater. We bring them to press conferences whenever politicians are wasting money. We got a huge debt clock, a mobile clock showing the debt going up in real time. And we bring that coast to coast to coast. So yeah, a very scrappy organization fighting for three simple but powerful ideals: lower taxes, less waste, more government accountability.
Okay, and you say scrappy. I want you to tell our audience about one of your latest proposals, which has to do with a sign right outside the Prime Minister's office in Ottawa.
Oh yeah, we got a big sidewalk ad going right outside of Prime Minister's office, right out front of Parliament Hill. And it's going to be up the day the federal government releases its budget, because Carney is trying to muddy the budget waters, right? He's talking about splitting the budget into operating and capital. And what politicians are trying to do is use complexity and confusion so that Canadians don't notice the debt soar. And this billboard on the exact same day the budget is released will show the real debt going up. And of course, it's not just debt, it's also debt interest charges, but it's also the fact that this is fundamentally unfair for future generations, right? They're not voting on this spending, and yet the federal government is saddling them with a mountain of debt to pay back.
Are you optimistic at all, Franco? You've been around Ottawa a long time, that the budget may not have a big spending price?
Well, nothing moves unless it's pushed. And that's especially true in Ottawa, right? So to force politicians to stop wasting other people's money, Canadians have to push back. Look, I'm not optimistic about this year's budget. We just heard from the PBO, who forecasts a baseline deficit of about $70 billion. And even that doesn't include billions of dollars of additional election platform promises.
Wow. Well, your timing is good. We're going to take a quick break, Franco, and come back, and you and I are going to talk about some of the most egregious things that the government's still spending on. I'll start up with some of that. I'm sure you have some of that. Right back after this.